Hello, darlings! Today we are making perfect hard-boiled eggs. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? And it truly is. Perfect hard-boiled eggs are a staple in my kitchen. Jeffrey adores them for a quick breakfast. I love them in a salad for lunch. They are incredibly versatile. And having them ready in the refrigerator is just so convenient. Why do we want a perfect hard-boiled egg? Well, a perfectly cooked egg is a delight. The yolk is creamy and golden yellow. The white is tender, not rubbery at all. There is no sad gray-green ring around the yolk. That green ring means it's overcooked. We want our eggs to be beautiful and delicious. A happy egg makes for a happy meal. And trust me, making them perfectly is not difficult. It just takes a few simple steps. I remember when I first started cooking, hard-boiled eggs seemed a bit mysterious. Sometimes they would crack in the water. Other times they were impossible to peel. But like with most things in cooking, I found a method. Now making hard-boiled eggs is a breeze. Let's begin this delicious journey together. First things first, let's talk about the eggs themselves. Using good quality ingredients is always my #1 rule. For hard-boiled eggs, the freshness of the egg is a key factor. People often ask me if they should use very fresh eggs or slightly older eggs. Very fresh eggs, perhaps straight from the farm, are wonderful for many things. However, for hard boiling, extremely fresh eggs can be a bit challenging. The main issue is peeling them. The membrane inside the shell tends to cling tightly to the egg white. This can make peeling a frustrating experience. This is where slightly older eggs have an advantage. When I say older, I mean eggs that are about 1 to 2 weeks old. These eggs are still perfectly good and safe to eat. As an egg ages, the air cell inside the shell becomes larger. This process helps the membrane separate more easily from the egg white. The result? Eggs that are much easier to peel. If you have very fresh eggs from your own chickens or a local farm, try to let them sit in the refrigerator for a week. If you are buying eggs from the grocery store, they are usually already a week or 2 old. But please, don't worry too much if your eggs are very fresh. My cooking method includes a trick that helps with peeling. Now that we have our eggs, let's gather our tools. You will be happy to know you don't need anything fancy. Simplicity is often best in the kitchen. For perfect hard-boiled eggs, you need a good saucepan. Choose one that is large enough to hold your eggs in a single layer. This is important. If the eggs are crowded, they might not cook evenly, and they could bump into each other and crack. You will also need water, of course. Just plain tap water is perfectly fine. Some people add things to the water, like vinegar or salt. They say it helps with peeling or prevents cracking. I have tried these methods. Honestly, I don't find they make a huge difference. My method relies on gentle cooking and proper cooling, so just water is all you need for the cooking part. Next, you will need a timer. Accuracy is important for perfect yolks. Your phone timer works wonderfully, or a simple kitchen timer will do the job. You will also need a slotted spoon. This is helpful for gently lowering the eggs into the water. Finally, you will need a bowl filled with ice and cold water. The ice bath is a crucial step. See? I told you it was simple. Alright, we have our eggs and our simple tools. Let's begin the cooking process. The first step is to place the eggs into the saucepan. Be gentle here. You don't want to crack the shells before they even start cooking. I like to use my slotted spoon for this. Arrange them in a single layer at the bottom of the pot. This ensures they all cook at the same rate. Once the eggs are nestled in the pot, it's time to add the water. Use cold tap water. This is an important detail. Starting with cold water helps the eggs cook more evenly. It prevents the whites from becoming tough before the yolks are cooked. Cover the eggs with about 1 inch of cold water. Having enough water is key. It ensures the eggs stay submerged during cooking, and it helps maintain a consistent temperature. Dropping cold eggs into boiling water can cause a few problems. The sudden temperature change can make the shells crack. Nobody wants cracked eggs leaking into the water, so cold water is the way to go. Eggs in a single layer, cold water covering them by about 1 inch. That's the perfect start. Section 5. Bringing the heat, the perfect boil and simmer. Now that our eggs are comfortably sitting in their cold water bath, it's time to apply some heat. Place the saucepan on the stove. Turn the heat to high. We want to bring the water to a full, rolling boil. This means you will see large bubbles breaking the surface continuously. Keep an eye on the pot. You don't want it to boil over. Once the water reaches that full, rolling boil, we immediately change tactics. As soon as it's boiling vigorously, turn off the heat completely. If you have an electric stove, you might want to remove the pot from the hot burner. We don't want to continue boiling the eggs aggressively. That can make them tough and rubbery. After turning off the heat, or removing the pot from the burner, cover the saucepan with a tight-fitting lid. This traps the residual heat inside the pot. This gentle, retained heat is what will cook the eggs perfectly. It's a much softer way to cook them compared to a constant vigorous boil. This method cooks the eggs evenly, from the outside white to the very center of the yolk. How easy is that? Just bring to a boil, then turn off the heat and cover. Section 6. Timing is everything. How long to cook. Now for the most important part for achieving your desired yolk, the timing. With the heat off and the lid on the pot, the eggs are gently cooking. How long you leave them in the hot water determines the firmness of the yolk. This is where your timer comes in handy. Set it as soon as you cover the pot. Precision here will give you consistent results every time. For a lovely, slightly soft but set yolk, my personal favorite for most things, I let the eggs sit in the covered pot for 10 to 12 minutes. This usually gives a yolk that is cooked through but still beautifully creamy and bright yellow. If you like your yolks a little runnier, you could try 8 minutes. But for classic hard-boiled, 10 to 12 minutes is a good starting point. If you prefer a very firm, fully cooked yolk, you can extend the time. Try 13 to 15 minutes. I suggest experimenting a little to find your perfect timing. Start with 10 minutes, then adjust up or down by a minute or two next time. Section 7. The cool down and icy plunge for easy peeling. Once your timer goes off, it's time for the next crucial step, the ice bath. This step does two very important things. First, it immediately stops the cooking process. This is vital to prevent overcooking. Even though the heat is off, the eggs are still hot. They will continue to cook from their own residual heat if you just leave them. The ice bath halts this right away, ensuring your yolks stay perfect. Second, the ice bath helps make the eggs easier to peel. The sudden change in temperature causes the egg white to contract slightly. This contraction helps it pull away from the shell membrane. Prepare your ice bath while the eggs are cooking in the hot water. Fill a large bowl with ice cubes. Then add enough cold water to cover the ice. As soon as the cooking time is up, use your slotted spoon to carefully transfer the hot eggs from the saucepan directly into the ice bath. Be gentle, but work quickly. Let them sit in the ice bath for at least 10 to 15 minutes. They should feel cold to the touch before you try to peel them. Section 8. Peeling perfection. Unveiling your beautiful eggs. After the eggs have had their nice chilly spa treatment in the ice bath, they are ready for peeling. This is the moment of truth. Thanks to our careful cooking and cooling, peeling should be much easier. There are a few little tricks I use for the neatest results. First, I like to gently tap the wider end of the egg on a hard surface. The wider end usually has the air pocket. This gives you a good starting point. Then, gently roll the egg between your palms or on the counter. This creates fine cracks all over the shell. I find it easiest to peel eggs under a thin stream of cool running water. Or you can peel them submerged in a bowl of water. The water helps to wash away any tiny bits of shell. Start peeling from the wider end where you made the initial crack. Try to get under the membrane that lies between the shell and the egg white. If you can peel off that membrane along with the shell, it often comes off in large pieces. Once peeled, give your beautiful smooth eggs a quick rinse under cold water. Pat them dry gently with a paper towel. Store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator. They will keep well for up to a week. Section 9. Beyond boiling, enjoying your perfect eggs. Now that you have mastered the art of the perfect hard-boiled egg, the possibilities are endless. These little gems are so much more than just a quick snack. Jeffrey often grabs one on his way out the door in the morning. It's a healthy and satisfying start to the day. I always like to have a bowl of them ready in the refrigerator. It makes meal prep so much easier. Think of all the delicious ways you can use them. Slice them onto a piece of avocado toast. Chop them into a classic egg salad sandwich. Or add them to a Cobb salad or a salade niçoise. They bring such lovely texture and protein. You can make deviled eggs for your next party. Everyone loves good deviled eggs, don't they? And with your perfectly cooked yolks, they will be spectacular. Don't be afraid to get creative. A sprinkle of good flaky sea salt and freshly ground black pepper is classic. But try other seasonings too. A dash of smoked paprika, a sprinkle of everything bagel seasoning, or even a little drizzle of good olive oil. Go forth and boil with confidence. You can do it.